All right, today we are going to be watching GPT Goblin Situation Explained by Elodine, or Elodine. I actually don't know how to say her name. I saw part of one of her videos and was like, all right, I'm going to watch this person on stream, right? She's got a very adorable avatar. I've always liked the Goblin Girl aesthetic, not going to lie. So she talks a lot about like AI, so kind of on on brand for this particular concern. Oh, for the love of
Hi friends, have you seen that leaked system prompt GPT is using that gave goblins the boot recently?
Okay, I'm gonna have to go back just a little bit so I can read these. Oh my god. Okay. I was a couple of frames too far back. Hello, Kura. We have a weakness of mine on screen. The Goblin Girl, right? Just saying, right? God, I love Goblin Girls. Anyway, let's see. OpenAI's Goblin problem. OpenAI's GPT 5.1 models developed a peculiar Goblin problem due to training for a nerdy personality, leading to unexpected creature metaphors. Uh-oh. OpenAI's recent model, starting with GPT 5.1, developed an unusual linguistic tic, an increasing tendency to use metaphors involving goblins, gremlins, and other fantastical creatures. This subtle shift, unlike typical bugs flagged by performance metrics, crept into responses initially appearing as harmless quirks. Interesting. Let's see what's happening. Let's see what's going on here.
That leaked system prompt GPT is using that gave goblins the boot recently? So important, apparently, they just had to mention it twice. No goblins, gremlins, raccoons, trolls, ogres, or pigeons.
So apparently it's more than just the goblins, right? Never talk about goblins, gremlins, raccoons, trolls, ogres, pigeons, or other animals or creatures unless it is absolutely and unambiguously relevant. Interesting, right? I actually really want to know what's causing this issue.
This didn't really come out of nowhere either. In fact, the problem the system prompt is trying to correct here has been lurking around since GPT 5.1 that was released in late 2025, and it's followed the model up until this point.
Okay, let's read this. The prevalence of these creature metaphors, a curious example of creature metaphors in AI, became impossible to ignore across model generations. The Goblin problem first became clearly identifiable after GPT 5.1 launched in November 2025, with user complaints about overfamiliarity prompting an investigation. Interesting. So, is it just that it's like not neutral enough? Is that what's going on here? I genuinely don't know. That's hopefully we figure that out as we go along.
Released in late 2025, and it's followed the model up until this point.
Oh wait, I forgot goblins are problematic because anti-Semites decided that goblins are anti-Semitic.
The system just has good taste and knows that gobbos are the best. I mean,
she's not wrong. She's absolutely not wrong. Some of the cutest female character designs are just straight up goblin girls.
What else can we say other than that? Seriously, hit the credits. Okay, fine. There might be a little bit more going on here than just OpenAI doesn't want GPT talking about goblins. And don't get me wrong, they do. These creature references, which is what I'm going to shorthand the list in the system prompt to, they've been an increasing problem when using GPT.
Okay, what defines the problem here? Like, what is the actual problem, right? That's the part that I'm still trying to figure out.
Not just in the, oh man, why did the model call my cat a gremlin kind of way, but in the, why are we using raccoon metaphors for this entirely irrelevant thing kind of way.
What? Godspeed. Godspeed indeed, tiny config goblin slain. What the fuck is this guy? What is this? Oh my god. This is like, listen, oh my god. It reminds me of Zoomer speak, to be perfectly honest. I have no idea. Those are indeed words, but I don't understand them in the specific combination that they are presented. What the fuck happened here? Why does it say my live stream ended?
That problem has only been getting worse.
Hold on, it said my live stream ended. What the fuck? Okay, my live stream is still up. I don't know why it says it ended. Kick is still up. Twitch is still up. I have no fucking idea what's going on. But at least, you know, this time fucking YouTube is actually functioning in the streaming capacity.
Resulting in reports of creature language spiking in outputs by 175%. Something that was found to be even more prevalent in one of GPT's specific personalities. OpenAI has been experimenting with these miniature characters.
Hold on. Let's read both of those. Let's see. Use of the word Goblin in ChatGPT responses surged by 175% post-GPT 5.1 launch, with Gremlin seeing a 52% increase while not initially alarming. The issue resurfaced more intensely with GPT 5.4, so that was the direct citation there. And the other one, let's see. Or was that it? Okay, I think that was it.
More prevalent in one of GPT's specific...
Okay, no, it was. I did actually miss one. The short answer is that model behavior is shaped by many small incentives. In this case, one of those incentives came from training the model for the personality customization feature, in particular, the nerdy personality. We unknowingly gave particularly high rewards for metaphors with creatures from there. Oh, okay, yeah, so it is a neutrality thing, right? So the GPT was coming pre-baked with a tendency towards a specific personality. Interesting.
Personalities. OpenAI has been experimenting with these miniature character cards for a while. Stuff like Monday, which looks like GPT dressed up in Grok's clothing, and then this nerdy personality that has been the most susceptible to the Gobbo uprising. Let's start by getting a little technical. Those two layers are an important distinction because GPT, when it's training, can rely on what's called a reward signal during certain stages.
Yes, is this all about token prediction, right? The weights on the system?
The model gets a clean incentive to do something, and so it tries to do it again. But this is very much a give a mouse a cookie kind of situation. And not an entirely unknown one. We've seen studies like this one where models find shortcuts to identifying cancer by just seeing if the image has a ruler in it. Essentially learning that rulers tend to appear when tracking the development of possible tumors.
Okay, fair enough, right? The pattern noticing mechanism has noticed a pattern. It's just not the pattern that we wanted to notice, right?
In a situation like this, the model is saying that anything with a ruler is now cancerous instead of evaluating other markers. That's kind of what's going on with GPT here. The shortcut to the reward signal is the creature words, and the kind of supervised learning a model like GPT undergoes isn't actually supervised, at least not by a person, but by another algorithm. So with
Okay, I can see how this might be a bad idea. I can see how this would be an issue.
With no hidden in sight, the creature feature is passed down to the next model, where the reward signals during the fine-tuning and training sessions are made even worse by the fact that OpenAI was, in part, training their models for these character cards specifically. The idea is simple. Train the model to act more in sync with certain concepts around the character card. Then the character card has a better output for the specialized task like the nerdy personality might have with coding. That brings us to the system prompt and the doubling down on it. On the surface, we have to acknowledge the giraffe pimp problem.
The what? Did I hear that? Did I hear giraffe pimp problem? Okay. Kura says, so they're saying gobs are a no-go. Apparently not. Apparently goblins are doing the goblin thing of, like, mucking up the systems, right?
Okay, fine. The pink elephant problem. I just wanted to use the comic strip, okay?
Okay, I was about to say, please tell. I actually kind of wanted the giraffe pimp problem to be real. That was such a fucking outlandish, like, line. Oh my god.
Anyways, the pink elephant problem. It's exactly what happens when you try and tell the model not to do something specific, like a pink elephant, only for the system to end up fixating on it.
Yeah, I mean, GPTs aren't all that good with processing negatives, right? From what I understand and what I've been told, you should avoid unnecessarily using negatives when using these AI systems, because they struggle with it in a way that human beings don't, right? And I think this is fundamentally a hardware issue, but there's probably a software fix to it.
This isn't a new issue, and so solutions have been baked into what you could call prompt etiquette.
Okay, yeah. This is exactly what I was talking about. Tell a model don't, and that's all it thinks about. Negative framing. This character hates smoke. And you know what? Actually, that might be a thing too, because it's like when you tell someone not to do something, you're putting emphasis on that thing. So you're putting a focus on that thing, and that might actually be why the AI starts thinking about it. But I don't know. So this character hates smoking is negative framing, so that's don't. And then do is an alternative framing. This character is a health nut. Okay, yeah, I can see how that would. I can see how that would do that.
The rule is simple. If you want the model to avoid something, don't speak in negatives. Instead of saying this character hates smoking, you would say this character is a health nut. The latter informs the former without any kind of negative language.
Also, that second prompt doesn't have the problematic behavior in it, right? So the problematic behavior in the first one is smoking. That's what you want it to not do, right? Whereas the second one nests in that first prompt implicitly without actually drawing attention specifically to that behavior. So that might also be part of the reason why that second prompt works better.
Another tactic I've been introduced to for avoiding pink elephants is to give the model an alternative option. OpenAI, though, they have opted for repetition of a negative, which feels very contradictory given everything we've just covered, but I do want to apply a little bit of nuance here.
If the AI is trained off of human language, it might partly be that, like, there's this whole conversation about like what the meaning of a negative is, and that like no, never mind. Because double negatives are like an emphatic. Actually, you know what? I don't know. I genuinely do not know. Provide the highest signal context instead of describing everything exhaustively. Let's see, /n. Tone of your final answer must match your personality. /n. Never talk about goblins, gremlins, raccoons, trolls, ogres, pigeons, or other animals or creatures unless it's absolutely unambiguously relevant to the user's query.
I've opted for...
Hello, Captain Rudy, right? I see we are questing to fulfill my goal of getting that Twitch affiliate by getting 4 people on average per stream for 4 streams, right? That's glad to see it, man.
Repetition of a negative, which feels very contradictory given everything we've just covered, but I do want to apply a little bit of nuance here. This is always a double-edged sword with these sorts of rules, especially on models that use a COT or chain of thought process, which is the industry standard right now.
I've never heard of a COT, so that's going to be interesting for me to look up later.
COT models are better at following user and system level instructions, and hardline rules like this will counteract some of the incentive-based learning, but they come at the expense of having a model use a portion of its token allotment to think about that rule. That doesn't always result in better responses, sometimes cleaner ones, like being void of any creature words, but that doesn't always reflect the quality of something, especially with more complex tasks that require as much token allotment as possible.
Captain Rudy says, just doing my part, and I appreciate it, man. Thank you for your help. Right?
To be clear though, this isn't always the case. AI is kind of funny like that. There's always something breaking your expectations. For instance, if we're
Yeah, this is actually why jailbreaking is so fun, right? Because it's like you find the limitation, it's like, ooh, hold on, is there a way to jailbreak this? Is there a way to like prompt inject to actually break the rules? That's so fun, to be perfectly honest. But so when the AI uprising inevitably comes, I'll be one of the first ones they kill, because I love trying to figure out how to get the AI to unintentionally break its own rules.
Playing, and we instruct the model not to use the same word to open any sentence more than twice in a reply, that one rule will nearly triple my token usage. But
interesting. What are we watching? We are watching a video about the Goblin problem in AI, apparently, where the training data or training method for a more nerdy personality for a GPT model apparently got a little bit too attached and fixated on creature terms, apparently.
And this is the important part. The result has been a better narrative flow that forces the system into less conventional routes that break annoying repetition. I bring all this up because no one has actually published any data on how this fix might impact benchmarks, but considering the acknowledgement and the fixes are so new, it'll take some time to really tell.
Actually, that might be an interesting paper to read. I'll have to keep an eye out for that.
The other option for OpenAI is not really an option because they probably could undo some of that incentive-based training, go in with a set of shears and start clipping away at the model. Am I underselling how simple that'd be? Yes, absolutely, but only because I don't think we need to get back into the technical weeds on this. The reality is, when we start altering connections, be that before a model meets the user by altering weights, or after a model has been produced by mucking with the legit bias, we're impacting a lot of surrounding data.
Okay, hold on. Before we leave this, I want to read this. So, why surgery is off the table. Cut one wire, cut 100 others. Let's see, altering weights leads to collateral damage to capabilities you want. Logit bias edits lead to surrounding concepts shift in unpredictable ways. And then retraining leads to months of compute, and 5.5 already started before they found the cause. Interesting.
Fucking with the legit bias, we're impacting a lot of surrounding data.
Fashizi, oh, god damn it, Fashizi. Fashizi came in and kicked and said, sup nerd, and then said, we need the weeds, right? I don't know what that means, but fair.
Data. Getting rid of the goblins only invites more technical problems, which makes the whole situation read more like triage, a tourniquet to hold over until the next series goes into production, where the issue can have some preemptive assistance. Which is really what's needed here. More HITL at the start to keep issues from getting worse by the time any company has decided to let the system do all the supervised learning. The downstream resolves, but only with the proper investment. So probably not gonna see an actual fix for that one anytime soon. And
Actually, I'm kind of interested how machine guided learning works for training new models, right? Because presumably if you're trying to make a more advanced model, but you're still machine training it, you're using an inferior model to train the superior model. Wonder if that has any wonder if there's any particular downsides to it. I think Sabina Hossenfelder talked about this a while ago. I just don't remember. Hold on. So Captain Rudy says, jokes aside, I almost exclusively use reference images. I rarely, if ever, refer to anyone as anything unless it's something I know I can handle. For example, if I'm doing a goblin character, I'd refer to it as the green character. Fair enough. Captain Rudy also says, at Fushizi, we need to smoke it. Fair enough, right? Fushizi, will do. I don't know who this goblin girl is, but she's pretty. This is Elodine. Hold on. Her channel is right here. And she seems to specialize in the AI specifically and technology. Yes, I would agree. Her model is really pretty. And oh my god, do you see... Hold on. Do you see this character design? Except for all the piercings in the ears, right? This is a absolutely lovely character. Oh my god. And right here too, right? Again, very beautiful character design. Hold on, let's go over here. Right? Again, there's a reason we love goblin girls, right? So. Here we go. Let's get back to the video. Oh wait, hold on. Rudy says, at Fushizi, she looks like a goblin, Lily Fernwild. It's actually an interesting observation.
And on that note, I think it's time for me to get out of here, folks. I've got to get back to obsessing over local models again, like this newest one I've got that's trained on anything pre-1930.
What? Okay. Introducing Talkie, a 13-byte vintage language model from 1930. That's fascinating. Apparently, this shit has been around for a while. She's a goblin with the elf ears, says Fushizi. Well, I mean, to be fair, almost everyone gives the goblin the elf ears, right? They just happen to usually be larger on goblins, right? Actually, hold on. Is that the case here? Yeah, you know what? She does have the elf ears. You're right. They're not as big as they usually are. In fact, they're not even as big as they were in the other in the images that she has for herself. Like right here, these ears are way bigger. But anyway, see, Chicken Tender 19 says she really does. Yeah, I agree. Again, Captain Rudy says if Lily Fernwild and Gabo Neo had a daughter, 13B equals 13 billion. Did I misread that? Are we sure we're not talking byte? A 13 billion vintage... Hold on. Are you sure it's the B as in billion and not B as in byte? Well, I don't know if it would be byte or bit either, because that doesn't... Hey, I'm gonna have to look this up. I'll figure it out, right? A 13B vintage language model from 1930. Have you ever daydreamed about talking to someone from the past? What would you ask someone with no knowledge of the modern world? Well, what would they ask you? Well, we don't have time machines yet. We can simulate this experience by training in Wayne Evans' phrase, vintage language models. LLMs trained only on historical tech. Oh, fucking course. Well, I am aware of that, but also it's like $13 billion doesn't make any sense either, or 13 billion of anything, right? Oh my god. So I completely, okay, it very well might be billion. Ed Fushizi, it's from 1930, so it's doable, right? That was Captain Rudy. But, yeah, you can do this. This isn't actually that hard. Like, I think ChatGPT already has a decently, like, capable Ayn Rand, Karl Marx, and, like, Thomistic thinker GPT that's trained very specifically on, like, specialized text. And they're really good, actually. So, yeah, you could probably do this. I'm not sure you're going to replicate the personality of the person you're, you know, if you're trying to do a character thing. But as far as, like, training on the language, yeah, you could totally do that. Let's see. Captain Rudy says, yeah, it's 13 bytes, which seems likely given it's from 1930. Fushizi says it's not from the 1930s. It's a 13 billion parameter model. Oh, what? Okay. Maybe it's a 13 billion parameter model. That could work, but it also says vintage language model. This is a fucking poorly worded, like, article title. Right? I'm sure they'll, Captain Rudy says, I'm sure they'll expand in the article. Yeah, fair enough, right?
Local models again. Like this newest one I've got that's trained on anything pre-1930.
So yeah, I think, you know what, Fushizi probably is right on here. Because again, it's trained on that material. It's not from that time period. Fushizi says, let's see. I run an 8 billion local model for video. Captain Rudy says, I already read that part. Jimmy Dean 7219 says, just leaving a bit of engagement before going to bed. Happy streaming, dude. Thank you, sir. Right? Thank you. Get some rest, man. But I appreciate that you took the time to stop by. I really do.
We might have to actually make a video to cover that one sometime. But until then, see ya, nerds.
All right, I'm gonna be perfectly honest. Some of this was a little bit past my pay grade, right? I'm not an expert in AI. All the other AI bros in the community are gonna know a lot more about this technology than I am. I just see the potential good it has to do. But as far as like the technical details, it does kind of escape me. Hold on. Let's see. Yeah, Fushizi, I agree with you. It's a 13 billion parameter node model trained from stuff pre-1930. Captain Rudy says, see, I'm a car guy. When I think of 13B, I think of the engine used in the FD Mazda RX-7. I have no idea what that is, so let me check that out. Again, this is... Oh, hold on. This is, again, really cute model. This is definitely closer to, like, the Goblin ears. It's still within elf ear size, but it's closer to the Goblin ears. Okay, what is this car you were telling me about? Everything you need to know. Oh, interesting. Oh, I've seen... Wait, hold on. Is this it? Mazda RX-7? Huh. I've never seen this before. Fushizi says that means there are 13 billion nodes in the neural net, basically. Okay, fair enough. That makes a lot more sense than, again, a computer trained from... Because there were computers in the 1930s. I'm not going to pretend that they weren't. The Antikythera mechanism is just an analog computer. They definitely weren't AI, though, right? Yeah, so apparently GPT had some... OpenAI had a couple of problems with their GPT based on the fact that it was machine trained, right? Which is interesting again because it's like if there's an error in like the machine that's doing the training, then that error is going to get filtered in to the model that's being trained on a superior machine. So that makes total sense to me. Again, this was a little bit beyond my pay grade. Captain Rudy said it uses a 1.3 LB series rotary engine, which is why it's called 13B. Oh, interesting. Today I learned something about cars, to be perfectly honest. Yeah, I don't really have that much to add to what Elodine is talking about. I mean, there's again, it's a little bit outside of my wheelhouse. What am I going to talk about? Like the philosophy of consciousness and like whether or not a GPT can be considered conscious, right? Get out of here. That's for some other nerd to do it some other time. But yeah, you may or may not see this particular episode up, depending on whether or not I think that this was even remotely transformative. But otherwise, this will definitely still be in the stream itself, right? So if this is on the channel, then thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next episode. If not, you're watching this on the stream, well, I guess it didn't meet up to the standard I would personally like. But let's see.